As you can see, I've decided to strip out the whole of the van interior and to redesign the whole inside. I haven't filmed a lot of this. We all know what it's like for stripping out. It gets a bit messy and tedious, so I'll skip forward all this bit. Okay, as you can see, all changed again. I opened these panels up in the side because I was going to try and have a transverse bed. Didn't work because of the height, so back to the drawing board and we're starting again. So I've now just covered this back in, the Rockwell back insulation back in, covered it over with bubble wrap to seal it off. I'm just going to do some rewiring or rerouting of wires before I put the ply panel back on again. All this is going to be hidden behind a cupboard, so it might not look pretty, but it's going to be all covered by a cupboard anyway. As you can see from this roughly drawn sketch, I intend to have a longitudinal bed with a wardrobe to the side and a kitchen across the cab front bulkhead. After quite a debate, I started framing it all out using 2x2 timber framing. Also, the bulkhead came out completely and I've put a single chair in. The bed itself has been the single most difficult decision to make. I have always wanted to have a fixed bed in a van. The main trouble with the other design was the constant making and unmaking of the bed to sofa regime every day. So I did want a fixed bed. However, the length of the vehicle did restrict me somewhat. So in the end, what I decided to do was to have a permanently fixed 5 foot by 4 foot bed. This would then extend out to create the 6 foot by 4 foot double bed that I required. All I had to do now was to figure out how to actually put it into practice. Yes, those eagle-eyed viewers may spot I now have a diesel heater situated in the middle of my bed. This was originally tucked away neatly under the bench seat, but now it's in the middle of the bed. I'm not going to move it simply because I don't have to start cutting extra holes in the bed, and where it is won't be that much of an issue. I've also decided to leave one of the recesses on the driver's side. A little bit more detail about that later on, but for now I've dressed it all out, carpeted it, and it looks quite nice. I'll use it as a recessed shelf. It's now time to start working on the kitchen. I wanted to move this as far forward towards the seats as I could, so I put my driver's seat into the most optimum position and marked it with a pencil on the wall. This was going to have to be the maximum forward I could take the kitchen, and I was going to have to form the back to that rake so that I could actually recline the seat slightly. Again, I was using 2x2 timber to make the framing, and I had to shape the back to that angle to allow the seats to recline. It turned out to be a weird shaped kitchen, but once everything comes together it should blend in quite nicely. I decided to alter the splashback to reduce it as much as possible to keep the cab area open as much as I possibly could. I then carpeted the back that's going to be seen from the cab and put it into situ. Here it is in place. I've started putting the doors on and I'm experimenting with the colour for the paintwork on the doors to this nice retro blue. I've also reused the worktop from the existing kitchen because it already had the sink and tap already fitted. I've just trimmed it down to size and fitted in, and it all blends in very nicely. I decided to go for the old IKEA bed slat situation. I wasn't sure how the extension piece was going to work with this configuration, but with a bit of jiggery pokery and a bit of experimental, it seemed to all come together. This is it in bed mode with the extension plug, and this is with the extension plug used as a backrest. Again, once it's in extension mode, this piece just sits in and then it's all covered as a bed. While I was on, I decided to continue the new retro look and make a set of curtains. Previously I had inserts in, but now I've actually decided to make curtains for the side and for the rear, which you'll see a bit later on.